I'm here now with Robert Bryce, who is a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, specialist on energy, and we're glad to have him with us. Welcome, Robert.
Thanks for having me.
Good. President Obama gave a speech this week in which he said a couple of things. First of all, that he's not in charge of gasoline prices, but his energy policies are working. Could you help us connect the dots on those two ideas?
Well, in my view, the president is simply impervious to the facts when it comes to energy. It's interesting to me that in particular yesterday or the day before when the president gave his speech on energy, he said he's for an all-of-the-above strategy. Well, he didn't mention the Keystone Pipeline once, did he? The fact is that one pipeline is probably the single most important energy project in North America since the Prudhoe Bay Pipeline. It would deliver 700,000 barrels a day of oil to the U.S., and yet he's blocked it twice. And if I could just give one, that pipeline is 6% solar panel and all of the. I'm sorry, did you lose me?
Just a little bit, Robert. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was going to say
pipeline was that if that pipeline is built, it would provide 46% more energy to the U.S. economy than all the solar panels and all of the wind turbines in the U.S. combined.
Well, and it would provide a heck of a lot of jobs as well. I mean, it's striking to me that on the one hand, he's prevented the Keystone XL pipeline, and in his recent budget proposals, he wants to raise taxes on the oil and gas industries, which are one of the few industries in the United States right now that actually are creating new jobs.
No, you're exactly right, and that's where I fundamentally disagree with the president's approach. I'm not opposed to renewable energy. All energy sources should be forced to compete fair field, no favor, no subsidies, but the relatively small tax treatments that are given to the oil and gas sector, about $2.8 billion per year. This sector is creating huge numbers of jobs, and it's allowed the industry to produce incredible and, in fact, record amounts of natural gas that is saving the U.S. economy, by my calculations, $264 million a day on the natural gas market alone.
Robert, take us a little bit through the economics of this issue. Yes, gasoline prices are rising for a variety of issues. Meanwhile, the boom in natural gas, shale gas, is causing gas prices, energy prices, to fall. The president obviously is supporting alternative sources of energy, sun, wind, and the rest of it. As you well know, the paradox for the president is for any of those alternative energy industries to become viable, the price of energy, let's call it the price of gasoline as a proxy, has to get well above $4 per gallon, and it has to stay there. And yet he's complaining about that, and somehow at the same time preventing these markets to clear, so that, as you suggest, we could have a level playing field competition.
Sure. Well, in particular, this is important to talk about the price of natural gas now, which is a result of the shale revolution. And remember, it's not just shale gas, it's also shale oil. U.S. oil production is likely to increase by at least 2 million barrels a day over the next 3 to 4 years, which is incredibly good news. But cheap natural gas in particular is crushing the wind business. An analyst at Morningstar just the other day said natural gas prices have to be at $6.50 for wind energy to be economic. Boone Pickens says it's $6. Well, the latest spot price, I didn't check it today, but it's about $2.60. So these politically favored sources of energy are the ones that are uneconomic now. At the same time, the president continues to bash the oil and gas sector. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you think it's at all plausible, just in political terms, for the president to reasonably think he can stand against these market forces? It's one thing when you're trying to beat up on small, relatively marginal markets, but what has happened in shale gas is just monumental, and the amount of energy that's sitting out there in those offshore basins for drilling, both in the United States and around the world, is also proving to be tremendous. This is, even if you're the president of the United States, this is a lot to try to push back against.
Well, you're absolutely right. And the reality is that the shale revolution, the shale gas revolution, which really started in the Barnett Shale in Texas, is the most important development in the North American and even the global energy scene since the discovery of the East Texas field in 1930. It's fundamentally changed the American energy picture to where we have now a surfeit of natural gas. We're even talking about exporting natural gas. It's also leading to revival in the steel industry, the petrochemical industry, forging, leading to lower cost electricity, and yet the president continually bashes the industry as though it's somehow the enemy, when in fact it's creating tens of thousands of jobs and spurring. In fact, George Soros just a few days ago said that U.S. the U.S. manufacturing sector is becoming more competitive. Why? In his George Soros saying this, shale oil and shale gas.
All right, Robert, thanks a lot for being with us. Very helpful.